Hi there, Andre here from Peak Motorcycles. It's been a while since I've done a video about any luggage, mainly because I haven't acquired anything new. Lately I seem to have been adding weight to the bike. Not sure how much of it is actually going to stay on, particularly with the crash bars. They do add a lot of weight high up, and I'm not sure whether it's worth it for the level of protection. Nevertheless, I have been thinking about what else I can do to keep the weight down. So if you've seen any of my recent videos, you will have noticed that I don't currently have a rear rack on the bike. With these pannier frames on and the luggage that goes with them, there's just that much stuff that actually having any more weight on the seat is kind of not really necessary. You've seen my video from last year. I did a video about this, and this is the Enduristan Rally pack. So what this is, it's just a small pouch that actually bolts onto the plastics. I got a spare rear plastic from Bikers Bits in Thailand and actually put it on there. So when I'm actually using that, there's no rack, there's no anything else. It literally just fits on in place of this tailpiece. It's fine, and in there I can fit my chain and a couple of other bits and pieces if I'm going out. If I wanted something bigger, I either have to put a rack on the bike or take the bigger panniers, but I thought I'd try one of these. So this is actually the larger one of the two XS Base Packs that Enduristan do. So they do this one, which is a 12 litre, they also do a 6.5 litre. I thought I'd try the bigger one first, just as something to have if I take all the other junk off the bike and I just want to have somewhere to keep stuff waterproof and at the back and for the least possible weight. So in this video, I'm just going to go through this pack, what it does, how it fits to the bike, and I'm going to see if I can adapt the mounting, the 4 bolts that are on here for this rear tailpiece for the straps for this, to see if I can use that instead, and then maybe I just take all the other heavy bits of tube off the bike and try this for a while. To give you a quick look at the bag, it's got some webbing on the top. It has a Velcro sort of mesh pouch for shoving something in there. These clips that are on here, I guess you could use them to hold something on, but these are actually the clips you use for securing it. Other than that, there's not really a lot to say, other than it has these sort of loops down the side, the webbing loops, which stop it from moving around, sort of very similar to the other Enduristan gear. It's made of this very sort of thick plastic material. I think it's a laminate material. It's very tough. And then to close it, it's got a roll down seal on the top. You can just undo that. Inside, it's got this sort of plastic strip to help you with the fold over. I've just stuffed some stuffing in that so you can see what it's like full, but it's got this red lining, which means you can hopefully find what you're looking for inside the bag. I'm just going to roll that up again for a sec and I'll show you the fixings. So put that on. In fact, I'll take that off. Don't think I need instructions for the bag, but it's good to have them. So in terms of the fixings, I don't know if you can see this on the camera, hopefully you can. So there's these 2 webbing straps that go underneath, and in here there's these 2 holes. So these actually bolt through using this hardware to the underside of the plastics, and then when it's not in use, I guess you just leave it just as a strap on the top of the bike, and when you want to actually attach it, you just undo the loops from there, and one side would go on there. This bit is obviously underneath the seat on the plastics, and this bit comes up the other side. There are 2 of these, so exactly the same happens on this end. So this would be underneath the bike like that, and connected in here. Now, problem with these sometimes is they move around a bit too much, so it does have these side loops. I don't know if you can see that on the video there. So essentially you'd push that up through that loop on the side, get that through, there you go, and that's actually the bit that would then clip on and yeah, stop these from essentially moving like that. Again, at this end you could do exactly the same, but put it underneath the waterproof strap like that. So hopefully that makes sense from, I guess, what the bags do. It's just a dry bag really, there's not that much to it. I know that it's not some people's cup of tea, but the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to weigh this. So I'm just going to take the padding out, and bearing in mind that when you're comparing this with the weight of other sort of rear mounted luggage, you don't need a rack with this. It is literally the straps. So when a lot of the racks weigh 1 kilo or more, and then you've got to put the bag on top of it, the weight of this is actually the weight that it is in total. Try and fold that up, make it as small as possible. So here we go. So this is the bag with the securing straps. The challenge might be trying to get it to stay. You know what, I'm just going to quickly put those straps around it, I think. Maybe that will help to keep it small for weighing. There we go, it's not terribly elegant, but at least it will stay on the scale. So here we go. So the weight of that bag with the screws, 677 grams. So that's the total weight. You know, you're not even going to get a rack for that sort of weight. I think even some of the racks have mounting hardware that's heavier than that. So the question is it secure enough? Is it useful enough when it's on the bike? Let's find out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this bag off, and then I'm going to see if I can reuse these 4 holes to mount the other bag. Now, the thing that I think might happen is that these front two, particularly with these bits on the side, might not fit terribly well on the bike. It looks like those bits are actually going to stick out. So if it won't go on there, maybe I will drill a couple of new holes, but I'll try and avoid that if at all possible. And my starting position will be to reuse that, so I can still go back to the Rally pack if need be. Right, I won't talk through this, I'll just do it and then speed it up. That seems to be preferable in most cases. So if you can see in there, this is just bolted on through there, so I'm just going to take those off. Now, these holes actually aren't the ideal spacing. I don't know if you can see on there, but that's really, well, I'm going to have to bend the webbing over a bit. So I don't think this is probably going to be my long-term solution. I probably should, I don't know if you can see that on there, there's this big sort of fold, and it'll be even worse at the back because it's narrower. I guess ideally the spacing would probably be sort of down there and somewhere at the back, but I'm not going to drill any extra holes in this piece just yet. I'm just going to see how it fits, whether I need any extra length, and if I do, then maybe I'll make some holes later on. It does pain me every time I drill holes in a plastic, so try and keep that to a minimum. There we go. So all the hardware is stainless, which is good, I guess. So it's going to go in from the top with a bolt through the washer, through the bodywork, through that, and then another washer on the underside just to secure it. What I will check, so I think it needs to go on that way round, which sort of makes sense, I think, when I turn it over. I'm just going to check that. So here's the question, do I want the opening to the back or to the front? I'm guessing I want the opening to the back, which means that I want the that side of each clip on this side to connect to the bag. Okay, that's one in. Put that on there. And then a nylock nut, and all of this hardware is stainless steel. Next one of those, and the same at the back, again with this fold. Like I say, it's not ideal, but I'm going to try it this way around first, and I can always drill some more holes later if it needs it. There we go. Right, just need to tighten those up, try and get them straight. There's two more. Loosen that off just to turn that out a bit. Actually, I'm just going to angle these 4 a bit just so it clears these little spiky bits on the side of the plastic. Okay, so I think that is pretty much as it is. If you want to see what it looks like on the back of the bike, I mean, obviously you've got the bolts showing, but you know, it's not too bad. And just to keep things out of the way, I guess you can just put those on and do them up as required. It also means that if you don't have the XS pack on, that you could, well, put pretty much anything else on there, and I don't think that's a terrible use of the rear plastic. I'm just hoping that these are going to be clear enough of those bits underneath so that when I refit it, it's okay. So just to loosen those off, show you what it's like on there, and then I'll put it on the bike. So I decided to have the back, the opening, so that just goes on there. I'm going to thread that up through the loop on the side, like that. for this one, pop that through there. And the same on this side. Just going to put that up through the hole. So that is kind of it, really. I'm just going to tighten those straps up. What I will do when it's on the bike is I'll just show you how that is, but it's just easier to show you exactly how that's mounted before I fit it. But yeah, that is kind of it on that rear plastic. Feels pretty sturdy. I guess there's always the risk that the plastic could snap, but most of the weight I think would be downwards, not upwards. So yeah, I shall now go and fit this to the bike. Now I've taken this back plastic off in loads of other videos for the rack, for the seats, for everything else. So I'm just going to take it off and yeah, not talk my way through it. There we go, that's the old one off. Actually, I'll take that off just while I'm fitting it. So what's curious to see is just exactly how these bits are going to fit round on the bodywork. That's not too bad actually. I can still see those holes go in okay. I guess that's clipping up and over. So yeah, that's all right I think. Right, I'll get that bolted back up again. Okay, so that's it. That is the tailpiece on. Those straps, I mean, it's pulling up a little bit at the side, but it's not too bad. You know, when you don't have the pack on, it's essentially like that. This doesn't touch the exhaust on this side. I wonder if this one does. I suppose you could always pull a bit more on the right, on the one on this side. But yeah, even that one won't touch the exhaust either. I guess those straps would flap a bit, but like a lot of the Enduristan stuff, they've just got these little elastic bits which will help to pull that in. I'm sure you could tie them up, tuck it underneath something if you wanted to. So I think when the pack isn't on the bike, I think that's quite tidy. Just to show you with the pack on, now that that's all like that, won't be moving around quite as much. I know you can't see this on this side, but believe me, I'm doing a clip up here. So just threading that through the loop and onto there. That one maybe you can see a little bit more. Through that loop and onto there. And then for these ones, I suppose they don't really need to go through a loop. I could have left that done up, so I'll actually do that up and then put the straps over it. There's one, there's two, and then those just clip on around there and here. Now there is a little bit of movement there. I think maybe what I do need to do is to drill the holes further forwards just so that that's under tension, but I mean it's not going to go anywhere. This strap here on this side would need to be tucked up and out of the way just so it doesn't touch on the exhaust. That's about the only thing I think. And actually these little side, you can see it a bit better on here, these little side bits, the fact that these tabs have a, I don't know, I guess it's the equivalent of like a barb, just where the way the webbing has been stitched. But I can just tuck that in under there and it won't go anywhere. And that's it. So I quite like that. I know dry bags aren't the most exciting thing in the world, and this one is no exception. But if you want a really super lightweight way to store things on a bike, I think that's pretty good. I might see if I can get a 6.5 litre one as well, because now that that's on there, that does look quite big. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure I'm making a bit of a fuss of it if I think I should try the smaller one as well. But yeah, it'd be good to see just how the smaller one fits. And maybe I'd even get a different, one more rear plastic piece from Thailand and drill the holes just specifically for this and keep this plastic for the rally pack. So one last thing I want to show you just before I finish up is that even though they'll go on the back of the bike like that, they're also, you know, they'll fit in with any of the other sort of modular luggage that Enduristan do. So, you know, I've got quite a lot of Enduristan stuff for my sins, for which I can only apologise. However, for example, on these Monsoon Evos, it does have these clips on the top. I guess you could put anything on them, but in this case, you can just clip that pretty much straight on. The clips are all the same, they're all matched up. Where does that go? That one goes there. So just as easily as you put it on the tailpiece, you could put it on top of these panniers to get some extra capacity there. Don't know whether that's your thing or not. I'm still not sure. I think I'd probably just keep it as a bike pack, but it's nice to know that the option's there should I need it. I think it'll even go on these ones on the back. They seem to have the clips the same all the way around. Now, whether that's for putting tents or any other luggage, but again, yeah, that would just clip onto the back of there. So yeah, I mean, it'll go on all over really. If you don't want the extra height because you're trying to swing your leg over it, it would go on the back there just fine. I guess you probably might not get one on the far side just because of where the exhaust is, but the fact you can stick it on the top or on the back might be something if you have these, or even if you have the Blizzard panniers, the saddlebags, which I also have. It will clip onto those. It'll also clip onto the top of metal panniers. So yeah, I think you can do quite a lot with it if you need some extra luggage space. Then again, if I've already got these on, do I really need the extra space? Don't know, probably not, but it's nice to know I have the choice if required. So that's it, that's my short video on how to fit this Enduristan XS Base Pack to my Honda CRF300 Rally, just by using the same holes that I was using for the Rally pack and just putting the webbing underneath it. Also just quickly showing how it fits to the side panniers as well, if that was ever needed and you needed the extra space. So I hope that's been interesting and useful. If it has, maybe I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot for watching.